Avril is the Director of Community Resources. Now, they work in Barkingham, Dagenham and Redbridge and Havering. I think it's Havering, not Havering. And Community Resources grew out of Lifeline Church in Dagenham. And Avril's going to come and talk to us about how, if we want to get involved, how do we get started? Welcome, Avril.
Thank you very much. Now, a lot of, and just to be clear, that we don't actually work in Havering, we work in Barkingham, Dagenham and Redbridge. Don't want to upset anybody in Havering. A lot of what I was going to talk about today has actually been said, and I'm really pleased about that because it gives me a chance to do a wee bit more of a reflective 7 minutes to help you just have a think about some of the things that have been said today and what impact or where it fits for you. So I'm just going to take us through 5 slides. They have some questions on them. And as I go through them, I just want you to have a bit of paper and a pen handy and start to write down some of the things that have struck you or made you think during the talk. So just a little moment about me. I've got 20 years experience. I know, I don't look a day over 30. With working with local authorities and leading a charity that came out of the church that ended up being a large charity, delivering a lot of government contracts regionally, locally and nationally, but now leading a small grassroots charity that is very much the community arm of Lifeline Church, which is based locally. And I think in that time, the 2 things we've really hold on to is that if we're known for anything, it should be connection. That's connection with our local people, with the community around us, and with the different agencies, but also competence. I was talking to somebody on Saturday who was saying, oh, it's so frustrating, you know, you hear about all these children go to school hungry and we want to be part of helping feed them, but there's so many hoops you've got to jump through. And I think, well, yes, there are quite a lot of hoops you've got to jump through, but you're really able to jump through those hoops. And if you can't, then we can help you do so. And actually some of that is a competence to say, we are safe, we can be trusted, but we also want to meet the needs we see. So let me just take you through some questions. The first one in the next slide, please. Rachel and Jenny have already talked about it, and Ian did as well. What does your church offer already? You know, some people come at it and they kind of do a mapping of needs in the local area. I think that can be a helpful thing, but actually, I think what the other speakers have said, and certainly our experiences, go with what is your strengths already. What are you good at as a church to one another? And how, as the walls of your church come down, can you serve the community with those same strengths? For us, it was a relational thing. We're a very community-based church. We just kind of connect with our neighbours, with people at the school gates, with people who come into activities we do. And through that, just built a reputation of being a trusted place. And that then led to other people bringing their friends along to things or to connecting, which actually over the years have led to some government contracts as we kind of developed as a charity. It's led to referrals, a constant place of referrals. But often when you follow through with the family, you meet the professionals involved in those lives, and they start to talk about you thinking, oh, they're really quite helpful people, and you build a conversation that way. So what does your church offer already? The next question I want to ask you is, where are you already connected? And people have asked in the chat about, well, how do you get started? And Jenny and Steve were talking about, sometimes you just have to find the right person. But we've always found that the first people that's most important to get to know are the people in your community. Because if you go into local authority and say, we want to do something, but you don't know anybody and you're not really doing very much already, it's a wee bit of a kind of clanging gong, really. But you'll have activities in your church already. So just think about who already connects in, and who do they know? And who might they know? And it's really interesting. I think the different speakers have said one thing leads to another. Who are your local councillors? Get to know them. Let them know what you're already doing and what you'd like to do. In our church, there's like 1 million teachers and social workers and foster parents. Give the church exposure to what they're doing, some of their challenges, some of their pressures, and you'll find that there's a real understanding of what is happening in the local area, just with the people you're already connected with. So map who's in your church already, and who do they know around? And then the next one is, how can you get involved? And this might be for someone who's starting out at the very, very beginning, or it might be for someone who's already doing quite a lot of stuff and wants to move more into the formalized support of family hubs or family support in some way. But I think these points might just help wherever you're at in that. Get to know the key players. Don't wait for an invitation. Nobody's going to come to you. Get to know people. Find out who's already, if it's a family hub you're interested in, find out what's happening locally. Are there family hubs? Are there children's centres? What's going on in your locality? And I think many people have said before, listen. Understand what's going on and listen to what people are saying. Read about the issues locally in your newspapers, on the online forums. I'm part of this horrific community Facebook group, which is the most horrific, traumatizing thing every day because it's so negative. But it's really insightful to hear what people are complaining about. Be part of the solution. I think people have said that before. It's so, so important to be part of the solution. If we just come up with more problems, it's exhausting for the local authorities. Have a think about what the issues are and think what you could do about them. And I think, as someone else said, and many people have said, connect and partnership. Many churches think, well, we can do it ourselves. And actually we can't. None of us can do it ourselves, and the local authorities certainly can't do it themselves. We need partnership. So connect in with your local CVS, the Faith Forum, go to councillors' meetings, residents group, be open to partnership. And just in my final bit, and I'm sure there'll be lots of questions that come up in the chat of the many speakers who've done some incredible things today. And I think a number of the speakers have already said this as well. Understand your local authority. I think when Steve was talking, he was saying, like, take a look at the early help strategy. On the local authority's website, there will be their strategic visions. There'll be their strategies and their policies and their next steps. Have a think about what you can offer into those things that are their pain. Talk with your local councillors and be ready to kind of brainstorm with them what could be done about it. One of the things at the moment, there's refugees from Afghanistan already in this country and probably going to be coming to your local area. Ask who they're going to be. What is the plan? What is the thinking? Is there a bridging hotel in your local authority? The pressure for local authorities on this is massive. But who better than the church to wrap around refugees, to get alongside people with bespoke offers of support, to integrate them into our community? So that's a huge opportunity. Others talked about the post-COVID opportunities. You know, there are people around who are so isolated and disconnected, not necessarily in huge need and known to services just now. We met 400 people just in our locality who were totally isolated, but didn't have any services at all. Now we're supporting those people, getting to know them, befriending them, making calls, taking them places. And the local authority have said, could you develop with us a social isolation policy and a strategy for how we do this with the other thousands of people that we met? Sorry, my phone's ringing, I'm just turning it off. And finally, I just want to say, as you get involved in things, be ready to talk about what you're doing. Make sure you keep it known. Find out where there are different committees and different groups that you can get involved in. Right across the local authority, they're looking for engagement. Through the CVS, through the Faith Forum, they're looking for proactive people who are not going anywhere, who are going to help them find solutions. And there are a few hundred people just even have engaged in this webinar today who are actually ready to be part of that solution. So consider how you can help, be proactive in that process, and bring what you have in your hand to do right now. Thank you.